rolling.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 158 of the Jiu Jitsu Dummies Podcast, brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business on or offline, that's website design, SEO, Google Ads, graphic design, printing, we can absolutely help. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram or our website, bbdigitalmarketing.com. Request a free review of your online presence today. My name is Milton Campus. I'm a black belt training out of Coral Springs, BJJ in Coral Springs, Florida. We got Christian behind the camera.
Hey.
He's fucking with my mic. Oh, see, I cursed. See there, I did it already. We got Bo over here taking some pictures and video for social media. Welcome, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, save, share, click that subscribe button. We appreciate all the support. Joining us today, we have Matt Walsh, who's the owner of 10th Planet Pompano Beach.
Hey,
Welcome.
everyone. Yeah, thanks for having me here. I really appreciate the
got it,
shout
man.
out and having me here.
We'll have a great conversation about jiu-jitsu. Nobody's going to spit on you here today, so don't worry. We've got Paul Geller. Third visit.
Third visit.
So I'm always like, litigation attorney, black belt, degrees. Are you? I don't know if you guys do degrees.
I'm going to get my Rodrigo. Time for a stripe.
Your time is the first degree. That'd be your first.
Yeah.
And are you doing degrees over there?
Yeah. You know, it's a thing. I guess I got my black belt January of 2018, but I haven't been able to coordinate with Boogie. So I got
black
my
belt
first
under
degree.
Boogie?
Yeah, I got my first degree under Boogie. I got my black belt under Denny when he was with 10th Planet, and then the last year things didn't work out for me to have Boogie come by the gym. So I'll be hosting a seminar for Boogie next month, and
There or here? He'll come in or here?
Here, it's just weird to talk about how like I'm expecting a promotion. Isn't that illegal?
Not at black. I mean, at black because I mean it's kind of time based at a point. Right?
Isn't that kind of whack though? You know?
I think now that I've got the black belt, I'll say yeah, it's fucking whack. I mean, that's whack that they're giving for the lower belts. I do think if I owned a gym, I would definitely have like the check-in. I want to know when you came, how many times you trained. And I mean, depending on the school, it's like, hey, could it be if you're competing, you're probably going to move a little slower. We know for what reasons, right? You want to, you don't want to be running them through with a new belt every year.
Well, that's for lower belts, for color belts.
Yeah, for lower belts, for color belts, right? If they're competing and, you got a white belt that gets his blue belt in 6 months, it's kind of stupid for his competing career if he's going to do it. But, I mean, everybody has a different reason for training. We were talking about, we're getting older. We're older men. I'm doing it for me and for fun. And if I ever competed, that'd be great. But it's not what it's a little bit more about mental, what's up here, keeping it clean. But, I mean, do you guys, do you have a criteria at 10th Planet that or for you personally, for your guys when you promote them?
Definitely for I haven't promoted anyone to black belt yet. I've only gone to brown, but I feel like the tradition is usually you need to be a third degree to a black belt to give a black belt out.
Okay.
So if I were to do it before then, I would do it with the blessing of my coach.
Boogie.
Yeah. So he would have to be present and do anything of that sort.
Okay.
But once you're a black belt, I mean, yeah, you're a black belt. Nothing can take that away, and you're gonna keep being a black belt. But there's definitely a lot of black belts that kind of fall off, don't train as much, and suck.
But they come in for the stripe every 3 years.
Well, if they stop, they should. I mean, well, I guess they.
I mean, again, I see. I mean, you see like these big fat black belts. The way I was that sounded weird. What I was about to say. We've seen those big fat black belts show up, and you're like, this guy cannot be training, and they're getting their belt. I mean, you see it across, I think, all disciplines like that.
Sure.
But, I mean, it's like I fall into that hobbyist category. I'm training 3 times a week on a good week. I'm trying to lift, and that helps me with recovery. But in the beginning, I mean,
Milton looks great, by the way. If you don't see him, I mean, I've seen you now over the course of however long it's been for my
acai and Jesus journey.
Yeah, he looks good.
Thank you, man. I forgot what I was going to say.
Compliments throw you off.
Zizinho trains with you as well, right?
Yeah.
Zizinho was on the podcast when we were filming in Miami. I forget, like a lot of times.
Joe, Pompano Joe.
I know
Oh, you call him Pompano Joe now?
I didn't know he was on the podcast.
Zizinho was on one time. We were in Miami. We actually had to do a short podcast because I think he was a little like he ran into some traffic. It was crazy. It was down in Biscayne, so it's a nightmare to drive around there. And then I think I had to go, so it was like we did like an hour podcast, and we always said we were going to bring him back on. Super nice guy.
I've trained with him a bunch, yeah.
Like I think quote unquote like Laborio's godson, I think they would call him.
If you
but
look
I
at
don't
his thigh, he's got a tattoo of Laborio's face.
Really?
Yeah. No, he's a good guy though. Joe's a nice guy.
Is he still on the job? He's still a cop?
Yeah, right now he's on vacation. So he's out of the country.
Okay.
Yeah, if not, I was going to see if maybe I could try to wiggle him in here just because.
I would have. I probably should have said something, but normally we have a fourth.
Yeah.
Mike Ben's out at a combat night fight this week. He's already driving up to combat night in Jacksonville, I think it is. But
we were
love to have you guys back. Come back on, or bring some other guys from 10th Planet again.
You know that Joe Zazino had a super fight with Rodrigo many years back.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, but it's
like under Fight to Win or one of these.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he fought my old coach too. He who will not be mentioned on this podcast. He fought my old coach. He lost to him if lockdown. He couldn't get out of lockdown. Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
he got stuck in the lockdown the whole match.
He's got a good
crazy
lockdown
because now it's one of his strong suits. Yeah, he's. Quick
I bet that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how long he's been training. That was that's like 5-6 years ago. He did a Fight to Win at the War Memorial.
That's where he fought.
And I didn't know him. Like, man, he was a little beefy back then.
Yeah, he's I think he's smaller than you now. He's like.
Yeah. I remember
like
he was a little chunky. I can say because he looks so good now. He was a little chunky back then.
No, you're 180 though, right?
I'm about 180. Yeah. Joe's ripped. He's strong.
He was.
Yeah.
He was like 220 when he started with us.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's
So when I started to see the him posting, and 'cause I was following him, and then I saw that he was posting. So yeah, I mean, if you ever want to come back with it, we'll see if you like what happens here today.
Well, one thing
more than welcome to bring
I think
him
would
on.
be interesting. I think there's a potential collaboration, just because what you're doing with Academy Safe is awesome. You know, it's good to like set better standards for like jiu-jitsu, whether it's gyms or competitions, whatever. This stuff's so new that it's like the Wild West in some scenes, man, and people are just kind of like doing whatever they want. So one thing Joe has the ability to certify people for CPR, and he's been a first responder for a long time. So
my gym has to get it done. They're looking for somebody like the fire departments do it for free. So we're trying to get it for free, like if they would come in and do it for free, or we have to go to them. They have a department that they're talking to. I believe it's free, and like all the black belts were going to go, but nobody's booked anything. So we're looking for somebody, but I don't know if he charges. And the gym's trying to keep it free.
What I was going to do is I was going to make it free for instructors, for anyone that's at a gym, because and then from there, if he can make a few bucks, let's hook our boy up. What I was telling him he should do is if he can make some merch, like sell a rash card. It says rolling responder. You get your certification, you get this dope rash card, and then how good do you feel if you're at an open mat and you see a bunch of people that have gone through the certification process?
I know. So I would absolutely, if you do that, let me know. I'd love to come through. Even if I was to do it with my gym, I do it over there to promote, take pictures, promote.
Do it at Coral Springs. Yeah. I mean, he knows all those guys. Like,
If we can get together. Did you know somebody at my school? You said you went to we were talking about you came to the open mat.
I met
last Sunday.
Jason Barron. First, I competed against one of his guys. I forget the guy's name. A good kid. And then I'd seen Jason around before that, and then I ended up competing against Jason.
Okay. He's a little bit bigger than you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we did the open weight at the Fort Lauderdale Open.
Okay.
It was cool. We each had an advantage, and the refs clearly hate me more because they gave him the victory.
Well, you're 10th Planet, so everyone hates you guys.
Jason is a bit bigger. He had more grip on me that like threatened me, and I had to let go of everything and fight for my arms. So yeah, what's up, Jason? I'll come visit him again soon. But
let's do something. Look, that gym. I don't. If you went in that gym on that Sunday, they're like it's the place in Coral Springs that all of the other gyms come to on Sunday. My old school used to do an open mat. Nobody showed up, and now I've learned why. But at this gym, like this is where all the gyms come.
We started in the gi. It was cold out, but I was mentioning earlier I haven't done that in a long time, and there were out of like 20 something people, I'd say 7 or 8 black belts, which is dope, and they're all around our like my age, which is cool too, So I really enjoyed that, but for a small room, like percentage wise, like that's a good room.
We have. I've only been there 6 months. I moved gyms, and they did a promotion in December. There were almost 20 black belts on the mat that night, and I think only 3 of them were visitors. So we have 17. But you could see it if you saw all the like they asked me for my certificate. My old coach never gave me one, so they made me one. But you could see every single black belt, including the 3 new ones that they promoted that day, have their certificates. I've never seen that before. I haven't been in a gym where there's that many black belts just on the mat on a given training night. So I definitely was like, I was going around looking for new gyms. I thought I was going to go around, and then I went there and I never went anywhere else. So close to my house. I knew a few people there when I walked in. An old training partner was there. The guy that I had met at my very first tournament, who was friends with my coach, was there. He had always been trying to get me to go in, but our coaches didn't like each other. Now I don't. Then at that point I didn't care, and I went in, and it's been a great experience. I do like that. I think it's telling. Because black belts know the gossip, what's going on. You've been around long enough, you know who's doing what and who's doing it with who. And the fact that there are so many black belts that are comfortable there, and a lot of cops there too. There's a Margate PD guys. So it's just like a real comfortable environment. Those are the things that I look for. There was a lot of black belts, a lot of law enforcement. Those guys aren't going to be there. I know those guys used to leave my old gym. We'd be like, why don't we have any law enforcement guys? We're right here, Coral Springs. And they would all go to Alliance. All the Coral Springs PD guys are in Alliance around the corner on Wiles. But yeah, I went, and I didn't go visit any other gyms, and I've been there since. So a great crew over there.
I plan on going back. I had a lot of fun there. I thought it was a good crowd, and I was planning on, because the open mat starts in the gi, and then they take the gis off and they do no gi, and then I ended up only doing like 1 or 2 rounds of no gi. I felt like I got cooked in the gi.
I showed up because the first time I went, there was like some guys were just in there, they weren't in the gi and they were in their shorts, and I was just like, all right. So I went to one in the future, and it was like everybody had the gi, and I'm like, what's going on? I thought we can, and they're like, yeah. And then halfway through, people start taking off their top, and then it's just like, let's do some no gi.
Yeah, I mean, I always prefer no gi, but to throw it on every once in a while, especially like, I don't know, I love jiu-jitsu. I love
how long have you been training?
I started with 10th Planet in 2008, and I tried it like a few times before that at a couple different gyms in the East Coast and Philly, but I wasn't sold on it till 10th Planet.
And how did you get with Boogie? Is Boogie's in California?
He's in San Diego, so okay. I moved to San Francisco at first in 2008, and then went from white to black belt there when Denny Prokopoulos was
Denny is Eddie Bravo's first black belt, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And at one point, he decided to make to separate himself from 10th Planet and try just doing his own thing. So when that happened, he broke ties with a lot of us, and once I moved to San Diego, I started training under Boogie, and then started teaching there, and he became my coach. So
2008, that's what Jesus, you're getting on 20 years.
Yeah,
17 years.
I still suck.
Lies. That's what a good jiu-jitsu player says. My jiu-jitsu sucks, right?
Yeah, it's just you're like, yeah, I've been there. I have a couple ideas on what to do with that position.
That's awesome. And then how did you guys meet? We've spoken about 10th Planet before, but I don't know that we've spoken about like how you actually ended up there.
Sure. So I got my black belt in the gi from Rodrigo Mendez, who has been on the show. And one of the great things about Rodrigo is, I think, he and I have a great friendship, as well as him being my coach. And he's pretty far away. I moved to Fort Lauderdale years ago. He's in Del Rey, and it was hard. I'm busy, and I mean, we're all busy, and I don't want to use that as an excuse, but I was looking for some jiu-jitsu closer to me, and I was training with some guys. I have mats at my house and black belt friends that would come over, and we'd roll and we'd train, but it was inconsistent. And then there's a guy named Ricardo Pires, Pires. He's Frank Mear's instructor.
Okay.
Moved to Pompano. I trained with him a little bit. And one day I was driving by his academy, and I saw a sign on the window that said 10th Planet, or it said No Gi Grappling, 10th Planet, Matt Walsh, and it gave a phone number. Okay. And I was very, very familiar with at least the concept of 10th Planet. I knew of Eddie Bravo. I knew what 10th Planet was, or at least my idea. It's very high level, no gi, much different game. I just felt they had a cool vibe, like from the outside, and so I called Matt and said, "Hey, I'm an old black belt. I've had lots of injuries. I'm not looking to get hurt. I'm not looking to compete, but I love jiu-jitsu. I want to keep going." And I think he came to my house for a couple of sessions, and we just hit it off. He's, you know, he was joking about saying he sucks. Matt's jiu-jitsu is phenomenal.
I know these sneaky
right.
10th Planet guys.
And he's
I can see him coming.
as good a person as he is a jiu-jitsu practitioner. And we had a lot of fun. And it was a real challenge for me. And you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I was very comfortable in the gi. I'm very comfortable with my academy and my training partners. And I'm 56, right? So like I like to say I'm closer to 70 than I am to 40. Like that's, are we past 15 minutes?
Yep.
That's
15:33.
That's fucked up. Like, I
Shit, fuck, suck.
you know, there's these 30-year-olds. I'm closer to 80 than I am to 30. And so
Stem cells.
That's awesome. But I enjoyed the challenge of it being no gi. I really didn't have much experience no gi. It's much faster. I don't have my safety, my lapels, my grips to sort of slow the guy down. And I got hooked. And then Matt opened up an academy that's pretty close to my house. A bunch of great guys. But I primarily, and not to make this about me, I don't like to roll with a bunch of white belts and blue belts who I don't know.
Bougie.
No, it's about safety, right? You have to trust your training partners.
I
fucking
agree
know,
100%. I roll with everybody, but I get it. You know, I was rolling with a purple belt that runs the no-gi class on Tuesdays at my school. You know, and I knew it as soon as from that moment that you connect. As soon as I felt it, I'm like, okay, he's coming from my, he's just seeing a black belt in front of him,
Purple
and he
belt
wants
sees a
to
black
he
belt,
wants to attack. And I knew it as soon as they said, okay, this is going to be a fight. Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? So you're like me. I mean, you're going to fight back. Like you're not going to be like, oh no.
Oh, I had a blast.
You're going to go and
couldn't get out of bed in the morning, but
right, that's the problem. And I have a wife. Hi, Leslie. I hope you're listening to this. I'm not sure if she's ever listened to the full episode, but we have a deal, right? Where no matter what happens to me, if God forbid I get sick, I get into a car accident, she's there for me and she'll take care of me. But if it's a jiu-jitsu injury, I'm on my own. And it happened. I was rolling with Matt. Remember my knee blew up? We had like a bursitis thing.
Yeah, bursitis.
It blew up like a fucking softball.
I have a little thing here.
And
I wouldn't blame jiu-jitsu. That's just old man shit. I got it on my elbow.
It's a combination, right?
Well,
It
like
is.
that little bottom thing is usually like when you're an athlete when you're young, right? I have like I don't know if it's the same. Like it's like
your
these little,
bursa sacs.
It starts
up,
right,
swell up.
I'll show
I have
you.
I had a little sack around my knee blow up.
I'll show you this.
Yeah.
Leslie dropped me off at the emergency room. Like, get the fuck out of the car. Good luck. And I limped in by myself. Like,
I wish I could have an agreement like that.
I don't know. But I lost track. But so what I do now is I train with Matt regularly. I train with Rodrigo regularly.
Safe rolls. Safe rolls only.
Safe rolls. Hard rolls, but safe rolls. I train with AJ Sousa. We were mentioning that before. Just lately, I've been training with him a lot. I trained with him yesterday. Very high level jiu-jitsu, but I got no ego with him. I've got no... a guy named Marcos de Oliveira who runs the Hasten Gracie School in East Boca. Have you seen that? Down on Palmetto Park Road. Super sweet guy, great jiu-jitsu, strong as hell, big guy. But I feel safe and we go hard, but I'm not going to get injured. So anyway.
Let me interrupt.
Yeah.
So, because I didn't give you a proper introduction, black belt, litigation attorney, but if you don't mind, tell everybody a little bit about like maybe some of the stuff that you've been like. Give them your bona fides, I guess you would say, right?
Martial arts or
no, like
or
your background as a I mean, I'm like black belt, 10th Planet owner, but I'm like just litigation attorney. Do you want to share some of the stuff that you've been involved with?
My firm is called Robbins Geller, Robbins Geller Rudman and Dowd, from Mike Dowd and Sam Rudman. I gotta get their names in. We're the largest class action firm in the country. We've done some really big things back, things that people have heard of. Enron was our case. It was a $7 billion recovery. That was many years ago. More recently, I'm involved for the past 8 years in this opioid litigation. We've recovered $60 billion from various manufacturers, distributors, pharmacies. That case is still going.
When you say it's still going,
well,
are you recovering? You're actively recovering, and then you're going after them for the money, or the case is closed, it's been awarded, and there's action that still needs to be taken?
So for certain, there's lots and lots of defendants. Everybody thinks about Purdue and the Sackler family as like the face.
What was the
Oxycontin. Yeah. And they were horrible, and it's true. But there were so many others that were also liable, and so
There were all of these other individual cases against pharmaceutical
so
companies.
we've settled with many defendants, but we have other defendants left. And Purdue and the Sacklers, there was a whole bankruptcy, and the Sacklers, who are multi-billionaires, took protection of the bankruptcy that Purdue was bankrupt, but the U.S. Supreme Court just said, no, you can't do that. Bankruptcy is for folks who don't have assets, and the Sacklers have billions and billions and billions. So that got sent back, and we're trying to rejigger that.
You did some social media stuff as well, right?
Right now, we're suing a bunch of big tech companies for addiction for children, but we also sued Facebook for a number of other things. This is before Zuckerberg.
Sued and won.
Oh, we got $650 million, which at the time was the largest recovery against Facebook. It since got eclipsed by their Cambridge Analytica mess that my friend Derek.
Well, they sold all the user information, right?
But now Mark Zuckerberg, have you seen him? He's jacked. He's training.
You want to know something?
So that would be. Let's put that one together.
I just saw a video. Maybe everybody's seen this. I don't know. I'm on social media a ton. Different for our different brands. It's just part of what we do. We sell it as a service at Black Belt. I didn't really think of it in this way, but somebody did a video where it was just like, this has been this whole jiu-jitsu, his look, the change has all been orchestrated to get him away from like the dorky guy that's 100%. Got your information to, hey, the guy that you want to have a beer with, he's on Rogan, he's, training with Mikey Musumeci, like all this stuff from the haircut to the way he dresses, he's out there surfing, behind boats and stuff like that. And I had not put that together in my own head. I was just like, oh, he's got a bunch of money and he decided to do just jiu-jitsu. He wound up, loving it. And now you have some thoughts on this?
Yeah, I just want all the nerds, like everyone paying attention.
That's your camera right here. The one that's lit up.
Yeah, all you nerds at home, we can do that for you, man. Sign up, $170 a month. You look shredded.
We'll even give you a better haircut.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that, again, I mean, this video is saying that, but I had never put that together in my own head. I just thought, okay, he's gotten to a place where he's backing away from like the daily grind of the business, and he's finding hobbies, and he found jiu-jitsu, and it's been amazing. But it feels like, someone been orchestrated. You have an opinion on that? Is that what it looks like to you as well?
I believe, I think it's a combination of both, right? I do think he probably loves jiu-jitsu. It's a great lifestyle, right? And you feel better, you feel like you're more confident, you can handle yourself, you're lifting.
You feel good, you look good, the quiet confidence of walking into a room with anybody.
As men, you need to get your ass kicked. I don't care how rich you are. Yeah. If someone's not kicking your ass every once in a while, you're probably a fucking baby bitch.
Yeah. It kind of goes along with, like, in business, we would say, like, if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? So if you're the strongest, the best guy in the room, you need to, as it relates to jiu-jitsu, you need to, get to an open mat where you're going to get challenged, or go to another gym where you don't know everybody's game.
That's the benefit. For me, the main benefit of jiu-jitsu is exactly getting humbled, getting getting back up and trying again and keep going and don't stop and don't let don't be intimidated. All those lessons. I think it's great. So I believe Zuckerberg. I think he's manifesting all those benefits, but he's a brilliant guy.
For whatever reason he's done it. I'm glad that he did it. Right. Shined a light on our world, and I mean, look what it's done for him. Right. I mean, he looks better. He looks better. I would say that he probably feels better. And, for me, I am right now, with as crazy as life is, with starting the nonprofit, with starting Academy Safe, having them, doing the podcast. This is really 3 different businesses that I'm running. The podcast is a business, and it takes effort. I'm lucky that the marketing company helps us, helps us with it. But right now, jiu-jitsu is truly more than ever been my therapy. I have a long day no matter what's happened. There you go. Yeah. I've literally, I got to get to jiu-jitsu. I need to get this out. I remember Rogan said it one time. He's like, these people that go to work and come home and sit on the couch with a beer or a glass of wine as that's their unwinding, the fact that they're not getting that energy out, they don't know how unhealthy that is for them. And I've always, that's resonated with me because, a long day I used to grab a beer and, I trained. Well, I didn't start training until I was 41. So before that, my therapy was like, maybe go lift, but I wasn't using it for that release, that stress release. I was grabbing a beer, going out with the boys, go get some dinner. I was doing it in an unhealthy way. And then once I found jiu-jitsu, it was just like, I feel amazing after this, right? The other day, I came out of jiu-jitsu after not going for a couple of days, and I was like, oh, I feel so much better. I couldn't even remember what stressed me out that day. So it's just like this amazing thing. We all know that, right?
Yeah, no, I love that, and that's I think once you get to the black belt level, and once you kind of sit in that position, I feel like that's what you're doing it for. I mean, as a gym owner, there's a lot of people that just want to be the best. They're like, oh, maybe the best. I'm gonna kill in competition and all that. And it's kind of hard to cater to those people versus the people who are like, hey, I'm just trying to unwind from my 60-hour a week, job, and then like my 2 kids at home. I need a place where I can go strangle someone so I can make it feel normal.
So I don't strangle them.
Yeah, and I like working with those people. It's so much easier to keep them happy, and that's where I'm at too. Like I do this shit.
How old are you? I didn't ask.
I'll be 47 next month.
Okay.
And you said
I'm 51.
50, wonderful.
Kids.
Yeah.
Masters 4, 5, and 6.
7 after 55, no?
4 is till 51, and then 5 is 51 to 56. 56.
Oh,
you're going into the next one, I guess. Yeah, unless you're already in it. It goes by year, whatever year you're born.
Would you see yourself competing ever again, or?
I would like to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did you compete before?
Yeah,
you competed.
Yeah. I did at the colored belts, and I enjoyed it. It was. I say I enjoyed it now. I don't know that I enjoyed it at the time. Like it was stressful.
The competing or the training for competing?
No, the
like the lead up is always
leading
is a
up,
bitch.
And then I may have told it. So I did the IBJJF like at blue belt in Miami, and another black belt, pretty well known at the time, gave me my purple belt after I won, but he wasn't my instructor. And Dustin Dennis awarded me my. Do you know him clean? He awarded me my purple, and I trained with Dustin a lot, and he was very.
But he
proud of
wasn't
me.
your.
But Rodrigo was there, and Rodrigo was my coach at the time, and so it was a very awkward.
Yeah.
And
I know somebody else that happened
I
to.
didn't wear it.
Not at a competition, but I know somebody else that happened.
That was
to.
a long time ago, but yeah. And now I feel like, I think it's good to challenge yourself and to kind of see where you stand, and I still, so I may.
Yeah. Let me do some of these reads. We usually do these a little bit early in the episode. So we want to thank our friends over at Flow and Roll, producers of the best custom gi and no-gi gear in the business. Visit them on Instagram at flow_n_roll and check out the custom designs they've created for academies and competitors across the country. Gym owners, you can stock up on your gis and no-gi kits at flowandroll.com today. Visit their website, flowandroll.com. Get 20% off your online orders with code JJD. And check this out. I spoke to Sean, the owner of Flow and Roll, yesterday, and we talked about we're going to do a very, very special promotion for you've got to mention us. This is the only time you're going to hear about this is on the podcast. You can reach out, mention Jiu Jitsu Dummies, and they're going to give you 25% more rash guards. So we're talking about just the tops, rash guard tops, right? So 25% more rash guards for free. So if you get, it's a minimum order of 25, but let's just say for a round figure, if you ordered 100 rash guards, you're going to get 125 for the cost of 100. Okay? Again, exclusive to the podcast, so you have to mention us. Who the heck does that? Nobody, right? So very cool of Sean. I appreciate him so much. He's been with us since the very first episode, giving out shirts and stuff like that. Thank you to our friends, Layout Optics. Shout out. Ooh. Did I ever give you a pair of sunglasses?
No, you didn't.
Scoot that box over here, Bo.
I'm liking this podcast more and more.
Matt went to the bathroom, so now I don't feel bad. Let me see. I know I have another pair. Oh, right there. It's open. Right there. There you go. It's a pair of these. Check them out. You got the
nice.
Oh,
cool.
Are you prescription? Can you wear sunglasses?
I can wear sunglasses. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Shout out to Layout Optics, the go-to brand for sunglasses and apparel, featuring their unique bamboo sunglasses. Right, we always love to show. Right, we've got the little red for black belts. Born in Southern California, their products embody the BJJ lifestyle that we all know and love. Visit layoutoptics.com and use code JJD for 10% off your order. And they are also supporters of Academy Safe, which we'll talk about in a minute. I got my Academy Safe shirt on. Laheel Biogenics, right? Laheel is one of our newer sponsors. Thank you to Nathan and Stacy. They've been amazing. They have 3 locations up in it's Lakeland, Brandon, and South Tampa. They're a regenerative medicine facility or facilities. So rolling every day is tough on the body, but pain doesn't have to hold you back. At Laheel Biogenics, they empower jiu-jitsu practitioners like us to recover faster, train harder, and achieve peak performance with the power of regenerative medicine. They are helping athletes stay on the mat and on top of their game. So if you're not local, it's not a problem. You can schedule a free telephone consult. The process is easy with even getting same-day treatments. They treat hundreds of professional and amateur athletes, especially in the MMA community. So this is like they kind of know our world. Laheel Biogenics has truly become the go-to resource for the fighter community. And when it comes to recovery and healing, I mean, it's got to be part of your training regimen. Are you like we'll talk about it. I saw some like massage therapy stuff on your site. You do like some therapies or on your personal IG? I saw some stuff.
It's
not your personal. There was something separate.
I have a background in body work.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about that a little bit if you're cool with that.
Of course.
They are working with a whole bunch of you guys know who Rob Kahn is, right?
Sure.
You know Rob Kahn?
I do.
Rob Kahn, he's kind of like I guess he's the one that brought like that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu crew up there in Tampa. You've got like Gracie Pack. You've got Matt Arroyo was there. He's a UFC fighter. Like that whole little crew. Robbie D'Onofrio, who's been on the show. Like they're working with all of those guys.
That's the guy who has
up there.
the coffee shop next to the Jiu-Jitsu Academy.
Yeah, that's the one that. That was
a cool concept.
Yeah, Robbie D'Onofrio. So they're working with that crew up there. So again, they have 3 locations: Lakeland, Brandon, and South Tampa. And I know they have a new one coming. So we'll as soon as they open up, we'll start mentioning them as well. So don't let pain or injuries hold you back. Schedule your free in-person telemedicine consultation today at Laheel.com. That's LEHEAL.com. Let them help you get back to doing what you love, and mention the podcast, and you get 20% off your first treatment. Me and Bo are heading up in March, and I'm going to get a little special treatment up there. So we're going to film it. We're going to take some video, and we'll put it out on social media. So thank you to again Nathan and Stacy for all they're doing for the show. Let's talk about Academy Safe. You mentioned it early on, and I appreciate that. We're brought to you by academysafe.org. We are a nonprofit whose mission is to help clean up the martial arts by advocating for background checks, U.S. Center for Safe Sports certifications, and concussion training for all coaches and staff members at every academy throughout the United States and Canada. I am the founder and executive director of Academy Safe. Rob Ingram, the founder of McDojo Life, is our executive VP. And together we're going to completely change the way people find and vet martial arts academies that they choose by providing a website registry listing Academy Safe accredited martial arts academies, again, throughout North America. I want to say thank you very much. You were one of our first contributors on our GoFundMe. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
We were able to put that money to good use and get a website built, and we're working with NBC Sports Engine. NBC Universal purchased like a whole bunch of like background check companies and has like created this product for really all sports. We just happen to be using it for martial arts. So in addition to the background checks and the safe sport, we mandate CPR, first aid, and defibrillator training, and we want you to have a defibrillator in your academy. Security cameras, business insurance. Believe it or not, I can't believe that every time I'm getting someone's business insurance, it's like, oh, it's expired. I'll get it to you tomorrow. So a bigger problem than I had thought, but an insurance agent was telling me is it's like, you need to make sure you got to check on that. We also check belt and lineage, and really, right, we're doing this for all staff members. So if there's a front desk person, like we want to have them background check as well. I don't know if you guys seen, even just on Academy Safe the last couple of days, we like reported about 2 stories that just happened in the last week. One was a coach with a 16-year-old girl, a 32-year-old coach with a 16-year-old girl. I do not believe she was part of the academy, but he was a coach at the academy. And now there's one up in, I think, upstate New York, where it's a karate academy, and it's a family academy, and this adult was apparently molesting children at the academy. So it is a problem. It is a problem, and we're trying to do the best we can. And I tell people, I'm a realist. We're not going to stop somebody. We're not going to be able to stop somebody from doing something bad in the future, but it's certainly been putting it on people's radar. that, you know, one of the things I tell a parent, like, stick around during your kids' class, like, stay. Don't send your kids away to competitions with somebody that you don't know, or really with any coach. Try to be there. But we're not going to stop everything. But what I see happening is that it's getting on people's radar, and especially with the safe sports, specifically the U.S. Center for Safe Sports certification, going through that. Like, even the coaches in my gym, like, they're talking about it. They're like, hey, yeah, did you see that thing? Right. I never thought about that. You know, the way you speak to a child this way or that way, or the grooming. And like, I've seen that happen. Like, they're talking about it. So it's just like on everybody's radar, which I think is great. Just a real quick, I've had this happen. You know, I talk to just about everybody that signs up. Anybody out there interested in getting on the site or becoming a member, whether you're a coach or you're an academy owner, you can sign up before you're academy owner. We'll get you listed. You do not have to do our 8-point. You don't have to do everything before you join. You're gonna sign up. You're gonna pay an annual fee. We're gonna get the background check, safe sport, and concussion training. We're gonna get you those courses and help you get those done. And then everything else is just showing us documentation, like get your certifications for CPR and first aid. Show us your business insurance. Let us know who gave you your belt. Get on beltchecker.com if you're in jiu-jitsu. I think they're doing some other ones. I saw some posts about other belt checking systems that they're using for other disciplines. But you do not have to have everything done. Come to us, get on. We'll guide you through the process, and you do not have to worry about getting it all done. If you don't have everything done, we will guide you through. Your academy will get accredited once everybody that's signed up, that's a coach, that's an employee, has gotten everything done. But we're still going to list you, and we're going to show, you know, if something's pending, if it's not in yet, and so on. So you're going to get the benefit of being listed. We'll show that you're not an accredited academy yet. And then once you're accredited, we send you stickers for the door, for the windows. We're going to send you some swag. We're going to send you some gear. And then we're going to promote the hell out of you on social media. So that's a big part of what we're going to bring to the table, is help you get more students and let the world know what you're doing. And it's a good thing. You can use discount code JJD5. Spell out the word 5, JJDFIVE. You get a few bucks off of your first year's membership. We also have a GoFundMe running on there still. You can donate via PayPal or the GoFundMe link. So check it out at academysafe.org. We really appreciate the support, and I hope that we continue to do some good things here. We've got we did a seminar at my school. We raised about $1,400. The coaches went home. That came out here from Colorado, Mike and Sheena Bidwell. They went home. They found out that they were a half hour away from the very first academy that got accredited with us, and now they're going to do charity seminars in March. And then Ohana Jiu-Jitsu here, and that by the way, that's Lionheart BJJ in Brighton, Colorado, is going to be doing seminars with Grounds. It's called Grounds in they're right outside of Denver. I think it's like Jewel, Colorado. So they're going to be doing some stuff out there. And then Ohana Jiu-Jitsu here in South Florida is doing a women's safety, a women's self-defense on International Women's Day, which is March 8th. So it's just happening organically. We didn't ask anybody to do this stuff. They wound up doing it after working with us and hearing about what we're doing. So that's it. I appreciate you guys giving me a little time. You had a little bathroom break. You feel good? Do you need any more coffee or anything? You guys are good? Ooh, man, mine is not that bad. Is that your knee?
My knee.
That's is that your thigh muscle?
Yeah.
But is that the knee where it blew up all around it?
Yeah.
I have under the knee, like I have that little, kind of like that. What is that? What would you call that? Like
patella?
Well, underneath the patella.
Underneath the knee, right there's my knee. I've had this little bump here on each knee forever, and then on this knee, it got a little sac started to blow up. I went to the doctor. He gave me some medication. It didn't do shit, but it wasn't hurting or bothering me. So I've just left it alone. I think it went down a little bit, but I just it's not hurting. I'm not going to really bother with it too much.
I've had my elbows drained more often than I should have. And last time I went to get an elbow drained, I saw an orthopedic surgeon, and he was like, "No, we're not going to drain it anymore. You've had it punctured too many times. We'll just remove it." And I said, "No, thanks."
So removing what is
the
that?
entire bursa sac, a bursectomy.
The bursitis is that what it's called?
Yeah, your bursa sac, they can just take it out. And,
okay. And that's a good or bad thing in your mind? You're like, no?
I never want to get cut open. I feel like that's always a bad thing. Yeah. Okay. I always opt against surgery. That's like last resort. Right?
Yeah. And then tell us a little bit about what you do on the therapy side. Again, I think I saw on your personal IG there was a link to another one. Then I saw you.
Yeah, I got into it
massage
when I was
therapy
in California. I think I kind of got tied into the healing arts because I got into yoga. So I started doing yoga, then teaching yoga, and then from there was a a massage. It was a massage therapy school. It's called the National Holistic Institute. They're like a chain throughout California and maybe some other states. But I did a program with them, and then I did some more. So I ended up doing a 1,250-hour program in what's called neuromuscular massage therapy, and it's mostly like figuring out deep tissue, trigger points, and whatnot. So I did a lot of like the spa stuff, like oil and lotion, your traditional spa shit, your Swedish and your effleurage and pétrissage, And then I ended up working in wellness centers, working with people who actually like had like chronic tension issues. And as a jiu-jitsu coach, it's paid off a lot to be able to help people with some stuff that's so debilitating where sometimes they can't even move their arm, and all I have to do is figure out how to push into their shoulder and neck a little bit for like 20-30 minutes. So recently I've only really used it for students of mine, which also could be weird because like as a massage therapist, people are like, you shouldn't be massaging your students. It's not like, it's over their clothes, like I'm a coach, I can do it on the mat. I did consider getting back in that type of work this year just for supplemental income. And then but I charge a lot, so the only person that I would want to work on is going to pay me a lot, and the only person I worked on had a lot of money and wasn't cool about it. They're just like, I'm rich, ha 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 ha. Nothing against the rich. Every once in a while.
Well, Paul, why is he pointing at you? I'm like, is he talking about you, Paul?
No. It's energy work. So it's like, I'm working with you. I want you to feel better, but it's weird to like work with people who are just pampering themselves. It's like it doesn't feel enjoyable. It's like I'm putting all this work into like making you feel better just because you can afford it.
But the other, if I can jump in for a second, so with Matt, there's such a knowledge base about the way the body works, and if you're like things you can do to help or to stretch and even to breathe. Like, so breathing is such an important, I think people are realizing how important breath work is now. I've rolled with Matt, dozens of times where he's reminded me in the midst of a roll, breathe, or sometimes we'll start, if we're going to roll, hard for me, we'll start by, you'll have me take a few deep breaths and just remember to breathe, which I think a lot of people, even experienced jiu-jitsu practitioners or experienced lifters, when they're lifting, like, you forget about the importance of breathing at the right times, exhaling. And so I really appreciate that aspect.
Yeah, and it's a big part of when I do the body work. And like I can't, in all movement modalities, like, that's what's allowing you to move. If you stop breathing, you're not going to move anymore. But with jiu-jitsu especially, I feel like the therapy part of it, if I'm doing massage therapy or jiu-jitsu, my breath is going to start slow, and I'm going to try to keep that rhythm. And if I can get you to breathe that way, and in massage therapy, I can guide you into it. And there, especially if you're like, working shoulders and the back, like you don't want to be pushing into the abdominal and chest cavity, because those need to expand when you inhale. So if I push into it when you're inhaling, that's not going to be comfortable. So I got to find your breath. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to try to guide you to start breathing slowly. And you hear a lot of people talking about like Wim Hof and other things that feel like therapy and all that. That's all breath work, man. That's all like knowing how to control this through controlling everything that's going on in you. And that's the therapy, breath work.
Let's jump over to this this conversation that happened to you, I guess we can say. I was going to say that, I heard about you first through that before he ever mentioned you. Like, I heard about, Matt from the 10th Planet over there when this happened. So you were at an IBJJF event. Was that down here in Florida?
No, that was in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Yeah, the Atlanta Open.
And I'll let you tell the story, but it winds up so people understand this is the incident where a coach spit on you. Another coach spit on you. So go ahead and tell the story about your adventure.
Yeah, I was having a good day. There was one in my division, so I saw this dude who looked pretty cool. I checked out his rating on IBJJF, and he was 4th at Masters 4 lightweight. I'm like, this is gonna be a good round. At that time, I still didn't know he was like some former UFC dude or whatever. But I was having a good day. I partied with some friends the day before that. Like, things were good. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna pull this guy right into a half guard game, and I'm gonna try to fucking, try and get on top. So I did that, but I pulled him in my half guard, and he didn't know how to get out. So he blew out his own knee, and they stopped the match. And it happened to me before, so I didn't contest. I was just like, wow, this sucks. I was like, is your knee okay? And he was, yeah, you cannot heel hook in Masters. And I'm like, all right. Okay, have your knees okay. It's not a heel hook, by the way. It's a half guard. And that's when he got upset. And he was like, you do not know jiu-jitsu. You do not know how to fight. And I'm like...
One of the better... Is it Brazilian? Is it Brazilian? One of the better Brazilian accents that we've heard.
Thanks. Yeah. I didn't... Yeah, my bad.
No, no, it was that.
I was actually impersonating someone with a speech impediment.
Christian, do we have that queued up? Can we look at the video? Let's throw it up, and if you're on, we'll talk about it if you're just hearing us on a podcast app. So that starts out with you kind of you were leaving, but we cut back to the. Oh, yeah, you want to do it full screen, Christian?
I'm getting escorted out by the cops right there. Shout out to Atlanta PD. Some good folks over there. They let me go. This is the competition. There, boom. I pull quarter, and then from quarter I try to build. From there I like to go to half. I'm in half. And Z, I don't really chill in Z. Z, I'm either going towards rubber guard or to lockdown. Z is just a transition spot. Now I'm in lockdown. Boom. So from there, I like to whip it to the outside, which creates a bit of a torque on the knee, but that's the point. I want you to let me sweep you. Like, why are you not letting me sweeping you? Whose fault is it? Yeah, it's your fault, bro. You blew out your own knee right there. Look, I was upset about it too, man. I could have just ended up on top. So I'm like, my bad, like, cool, all right, yeah. I'm not like yelling or anything. He waves his hand. I'm like, okay, cool. But then he starts talking shit.
Yo, stop. Ridiculous.
So that was he spit on you. That's the first time.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
He spit on me a couple times. It's not in there, but he threw a shoe at me when he was coming up too. Who could throw some shoe, honestly? But that's a quote from Austin Powers. You hit me with a shoe. Yeah, it was at the time I was pretty bummed about it. Went to the airport. There was I got some footage, so it worked out well.
you got the content.
Life's interesting, like it seemed like a loss in a lot of ways, but after I land, my phone was blown up. Like I land, the video got posted, and then it's crazy what could happen in a couple hours. And then people want to know about my stupid old man move. They're like, "What is this half guard you use?" Like it destroys knees. I'm like, it normally doesn't.
It was like half a dozen like pages that I followed did like stories on it, did like full articles on it, and then posted the video.
Yeah, it was funny. It was cool. Like people I hadn't spoken to in years were suddenly like, "Why do you spit on you? I'm upset." I'm like, "It's okay. I haven't spoken to in 12 years."
So we were talking about this before because I love the lockdown. I just love to do the electric chair. It's usually if I'm going to pull guard, I'm going to try to get them and then just work for the electric chair. So I didn't understand. You were saying like when I don't usually do the, what do you call it, the whip down?
Yeah, I sent Christian a couple videos and just with those that lockdown whip and isolation. And if you go for the electric chair, you'll take the leg, and instead of turning into the person, you turn away so you can whip them and then get that underhook under the leg, right? Yeah. The thing is I feel like a lot of people won't let you get under that leg. So right now I see how I'm pushing against his arm. So my left arm is wrapped around his waist instead of looking for that underhook, because I'm propping him in that angle, and I'm either going to go for an arm track. There's some kamikazes there, or I take the back from there too. There's a few things I do, but it's debilitating. He's not going anywhere. Like you can see like with his arm extended out and his leg turned to the side, if he's a table, I just took out two of his legs. So
I explained a lot of jiu-jitsu moves to the younger guys like that. You have four legs, and if I take one away, you're going to fall to that. Right. I use that analogy all the time.
But I feel like, and I've been in Matt's lockdown, it's not a comfortable position, but like you should know in jiu-jitsu, certain times you have to concede the position. You're still in the fight. Okay, now he's going to be on top of me. But this dude who's a black belt and a UFC and an academy, UFC
I don't feel like there's a way that he didn't know.
I think
like
it was...
He couldn't know, like, if I don't do this, like, if I don't roll, I could compromise my knee.
You know how the sport goes, man. Like if there's a hole in your game, like whose fault was that? And like he that's a huge hole in the game. And MMA brings out a style of grappling that neglects these bottom guard games that 10th Planet loves. Like I love quarter guard, half guard, rubber guard, you know, and that's
it's neglected there because they're like, well, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to be defending the punch and right.
Yeah, they want to smash, kick you, punch, pressure.
Yeah.
But down like on the guard side of things, I'm going to trick you. You know, like I'm going to be on bottom. And
But don't you think there's like a couple of reactions, right? When somebody does something to you that you didn't necessarily see coming, you don't necessarily know how to defend it, like. You can either say, wow, holy shit, that hurt. That was cool. Can you show me how you did that? Congratulations, Matt. That was like awesome. And then add it to your game or learn about it. That's the mature way. That's the black belt way.
Yeah.
Or you can say, fuck you, you pussy, and spit on you. That's a very immature, like that's not
it's
a black
funny.
belt reaction.
Yeah. There was a UFC fight where, is it Olinsky, the heavyweight, where he did the Ezekiel from the bottom. The video comes out of his opponent and when they get off the mat in the back and he's asking, he's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
How'd you do that? And they're working it. They just left the arena and they're working it and he's showing him and he's like, that was amazing. Like that's the way that it should be looked at.
I've done that a million times with guys who catch me on something. Yeah.
I actually I am by no means do I think that I have anything even close to the lockdown you have. I also don't know like the word. Like I'm like, oh, I probably do that, but I don't know the words that everybody uses. I just kind of know the position. My old coach didn't use words. He didn't use names. And when he did name a move, he had a really big kids program, so he would do names that the kids would remember. So we have so many parents of those kids that train that he maintained. The parents might be watching the kids class. So he would use the same names that are in the parents' class. So the names of our moves are these I wouldn't know, like when I talk to somebody else, I'm just like, oh, you mean the nay-nay. And they're like, what's the nay-nay? Or he was just like, grab the dollar, cover the sun, like all this, like for the kid, like he did. So anyway, I love the lockdown. My coach he was a lockdown guy, pull guard, grab the lockdown. There's some nice sweeps from there. But usually if I do it on somebody, because I do want to learn more and I want somebody to know, I'll usually, if I see that they can't get out, probably partially because I don't want them to hurt themselves, because if they do that back step, sometimes they can blow out their own knee. I'll usually say, hey, have you ever been in that position? No, hey, let me show you these are like the 3 ways that I get out, just so that you know. Because like then it's not fun for them to just be like if I'm doing it on a blue or purple belt, like they're just flopping around. Like I want to play with it. I want them to defend. I want to lose it. I want to get it back again. I want to play with it and I want to learn. So I'll usually show somebody like, hey, can I just show you how to have you ever been in a lockdown? Do you know how to do the lockdown? So I'll show what I did. I'll tell them how I like to get out, and then I let them do it on me. Like even if after a roll. Like I'm in a gym now that we can do that. Everybody can go to the next roll and then I can show them, and they're usually appreciative of it. But I hate doing it when like they don't know it.
Right.
Because then it's just like I'm like taking advantage. But I want to do it all the time. I want to perfect it. I want to get better at it. So I want them to know a little bit more so that they can help me get better by knowing how to get out or move around or what not to do. But so this guy spits on you. You get thrown out. You get off the plane. Yeah. You have all these stories. What are you thinking in your mind? Are you like, did anybody reach out to like interview you? Were people like, tell us more. Tell us your side.
Yeah, there was definitely. I kind of wanted to blow over. Like I feel like you've competed, so I know you did. Like like it's very emotional, and I spoke to someone else who had competed against him, who told me he had a similar experience where it was like a questionable ending. And from there the dude was like, I will prove to you that I'm the better man. Let's fight till death now. He didn't say it that way. It was more like, fuck you, you pussy.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably it's the drilling that he received. He came like, MMA dudes, they're training to fight. They're training to beat each other up. So like jiu-jitsu falls within that category. It's a martial art that they're starting. It's a fight. But it's not that type of fight, man. It's like,
like if he could be raining down punches on you, there's a different thing happening, right?
So I get
when you eliminate that thing that he's used to doing,
right? And I wasn't there to get into like a fucking boxing match.
Yeah.
So the responses I got online were a lot of people were like, "Why didn't you fight back?" From people who don't even do martial arts.
Yeah, of course, it's always.
And then other things were like people saying I should sue him, and then a lot of the Florida boys were like, "Should have shot him. Should have shot him." You're right.
Well, I was in Atlanta, so I didn't have my pistol with me.
Yeah, well, I did. Like, of course, there's a part of me that's like, because there's folding chairs. It could have gotten WWF and so stupid for us Masters 4 guys. Or he was Masters 3. I'm Masters. Yeah. But like a Master Division, like coaches, to, turn into like like if I'm grabbing shit and hitting him and then he's punching me back, like that would have made it so much maybe funnier. Who knows?
I think it's it says a lot about Matt. He had this, Matt's a tough guy. Matt's been a bouncer. Matt's very, very high level jiu-jitsu. He had this dude spit on him, and to have the wherewithal to say, you know what, I'm going to leave. The video of you walking out is just like, it's classy, and you don't want to fucking fight a UFC fighter. I don't either.
I thought the cops were going to take him away. They showed up and they started like, you got to go. And
I mean, that's essentially, is that not assault once he spits on you? He has now assaulted you, right? Even if he didn't punch you, he spit on you. Now,
I was told assault were the threats. The spitting is battery.
It's battery.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. But who cares? Yeah, like I don't know. If I see him again next time, I'll try to lock down him.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I thought was funny though is he made like a rebuttal, or not a rebuttal, but he made a video response, and I had fun with it because at one point he says that like even though he admits he overreacted,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean we all overreact. It happens. So he overreacted, but he said I did cause him to really get upset, and at one point supposedly I yelled, "Smoke weed, pop knees." Yeah, because I guess I'm a fucking 10 planet black belt, and that's how we roll. So I thought it was hilarious that he said that I said that, and if I did say it, man, like I fucking will own it. But I don't remember saying that, probably from all the weed, I guess.
Yeah. It's a good tagline.
There's a post out there.
Yeah. So the student made some images. It got cleared up, and then we ran with a series of shirts.
Is that after?
Yeah, so he said that I said that, and then that they made an image of me getting like arrested or whatever, and like I'm holding a sign that says "Smoke weed, pop knees."
Can you? We bring it up? I saw that, and I was going to ask you about it, but I'm like, no, because it doesn't sound good to say that. If you could bring up his page, and I saw that, and I'm just like, I didn't consider whether it was before or after.
Black and white photo.
Yeah,
it's like, cool. Your eyes are kind
like
of
my eyes are like bleeding.
That's a whole nother podcast, Christian. We transitioning to another show. Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, I can't bring that up because it's
Oh, it encourages people to smoke weed.
Well, no, because it puts you in a bad light. But now you're saying that you did it after is different. You said you did it after. You created that image in that shirt after.
Oh yeah, after
he said it.
Yeah.
I saw that. I'm like, wow, this doesn't look.
But you're a marketing guy. That's good marketing.
That's a fucking yeah. But again, before the fact that it's after, or that the guy said something and then he said that. Yeah. Then he did that. Then it comes out after. Then you're using what he said, not that you're out there saying that.
I would never encourage anyone to go out there and enjoy recreational cannabis. Like here in Florida, let's just enjoy the medicated stuff.
Have you met Bo? Did you get here early enough? Right there, you got it. Yeah, you we need to lock you guys in a room for 20 minutes.
Unlock the power of your online presence with Black Belt Digital Marketing. Their reputation management program ensures your Google business profile seen by more potential customers. Black Belt Digital Marketing is your full-service digital marketing agency specializing in local SEO and reputation management. Boost your business today. Visit bbdigitalmarketing.com. Your success is their priority.
Miss your morning routine, BioPro.
Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
But I mean, you got an interesting story out of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like it's not the first time that I got DQ'd from using this lockdown. I want to keep using it, but I don't want to get disqualified because I've also used it and not gotten DQ'd. So I do think that out of all the half guards, it's the best one. I like it. I play it differently than other lockdown players. Like there's not that many, but Eddie, who's like my hero or whatever. Like when I watch him do his lockdown, he usually goes toward the inside. He goes for that electric, and he bounces quarter lockdown to rubber guard. Basically, we skip through Z as well. So I play it in this fashion. I think it's the best way to do it because you're fucking up that knee. If the guy doesn't if he doesn't let you sweep him, he puts himself in a position where he could damage some tissue in his leg.
So when I'm not doing it in competition, I'm doing it at the gym. So I'm verbal. I'll tell them like, hey, don't,
so you brought
or
that
I'll let
up
it
earlier.
go.
I've been teaching the lockdown for over a dozen years, and never once have I had any of my students, not once have I had a student ever say that they hurt their knee playing lockdown with me. But some high-level Brazilian black belts, for some reason,
I can say the same thing. I mentioned before, the only time that I've ever had someone in a lockdown was a blue belt from another school came to an open mat at my old school, and I have it, on his right leg, right? So I'm there, and I'm gonna dive for the electric chair, and he decides to backstep. He just didn't know, and he fucked up his own knee. He didn't. I don't think he permanently damaged it. And I've seen him at my new school now. We talked. It was like, yeah, well, that would, he talked about how it hurt. And I still did the lockdown, and he still didn't know really how to defend it. But it was because he backstepped. But if I can let go, like if I see somebody doing that, which is not often, I'll let go. But he was a blue belt. He just didn't know. He's not understanding how he was just going to rip his own knee. So he did that. I'm like, and we stopped, and we're like, and we wound up finishing the roll. But he did. That was the only time I've ever hurt anybody. So I've never. It was odd for me that when you say how you did it, I understand. Like when you do the, what is it called? Is whip down? What is it?
If you whip it to the other side, like if you say you get your lockdown and you want to get the electric chair.
Yeah. So
you put the lockdown in and you whip it to the opposite side so you can then slide that underhook in.
Yeah,
so a lot of people just refer to, because we call it the reverse lockdown when you bring it out to that side.
Okay.
But other people refer to it just as the whip side. So you whip it there so you can then get the arm underneath. But I don't look for the leg. I like to trap the arm and move from there. Like the leg, I think it's because I'm so used to rolling with 10th Planet people that we'll see the electric chair coming. It's there. So it's that's pretty avoidable. But this weird arm trap series, I know Sean Bollinger is the one that gave me the most detail about it. He doesn't even roll anymore. And Marvin Castell, he's another 10th Planet black belt. I know he uses it. But other than that, I don't really know that many people that use that arm trap series, the reverse lockdown that I'm talking about.
Okay. I like, again, I'm going to die for it. Most of the time I'm doing it because I'm going to die for it. Or it's like a Hail Mary on some big dude that's on top of me and I've got to create a little space. So I got to grab the leg and move it out. I do like to convert it to like an outside lockdown and get on it. And like, if you stretch it and you can, depending on where they have to push it, you could take their back from there. Like I like that. But it's my go-to, especially when I don't know somebody. Like if I'm at an open mat, and we said before, like I rolled with a guy from my school that was just like, as soon as he grabbed me, I knew it was going to be a tough roll. So like guys like that I see are going to get super aggressive, I try to get them in the lockdown because they'll usually like a fish flopping around in a boat. They'll get rid of the energy and then go, okay, now I've got to like figure this out. They'll go from getting, maybe being a little spazzy. It usually gets the spaz out pretty quick inside of a roll. So that's why I like to do it. And then I'll let it go, maybe play with them depending on if they know how to get out of it or not. But I'll almost always show somebody that's new, that's never done it. I'm at a school where they don't know the lockdown. Most of the guys don't know the lockdown except for maybe the black belts. But the lower guys, they don't know. They haven't really seen it. And I'll usually say, okay, look, just next time this is what you do, or this is how I did it. These are the ways that I get out of it. Usually give them like 3 different ways of how I like to get out of it. And then at least they're a little bit educated on it because I don't want somebody to hurt themselves.
I think within jiu-jitsu, my main role these days is as an educator. So I show all my guys, I'll teach people on their first day how to heel hook each other. I think the more dangerous the submission is, the more you should know about it. The more you can avoid that danger. So
do you know Drew Phoenix?
Yeah, Drew's great. Yeah.
Drew's been on a bunch. He used to kind of co-host with me for here and there. He says, how does he say it? He goes, my white belts do heel hooks because he has a really clever way of saying it. But it basically says, I teach my white belts heel hooks, but they also know how to defend against them. So like, I let them do it because they know how to defend against it. But he has a real clever way of saying it. I forgot how he says it. I'm not doing it justice, but he's just like, I teach white belts heel hooks, and they should, and everyone out there should. But you've also got to teach them both sides of it.
I feel like
not just do it and learn it and rip it.
Drew's great. Have you met him?
I know who he is.
A&M Jiu-Jitsu.
When you
He's coming back on, by the way. I got him booked.
In a sort of traditional Brazilian gi school, were heel hooks and ankles and toe holds, was that part? Because I mean, we sort of grazed it occasionally, but it just was not a big part of the curriculum.
No, straight ankles were like the main thing. It's probably like as far as they would go most of the time. Yeah. I can say I never did a heel hooking class, even in no-gi at my school. I had me and a buddy from my school. We kept it quiet. I had a spare room with mats in my apartment, and I used to have Drew come by.
Closeted leg locks.
We had Drew. We had Drew come over. He would come over for 2 hours on a Saturday. We only stopped because my friend that I told you went to Mexico for a little treatment. Came back and he was all jammed up. So we just stopped, and I got to tell Drew, hey, I got some credits, Drew. Let's do some more training. But I would have him come over, and we would record it. We would record it at the end, like going through all of the steps. Like, okay, let's record everything we just did, so you have it and you can practice it. And so that was like we were like secretly trained heel hooks because we weren't getting it from our school. And we were both brown belts, and we were like, we knew that there's this huge gaping hole in our game, and we're like, well, if they're not going to fill it, let's just fill it. But we couldn't say anything because our coach was anti, like, learning from anybody else. Yeah. You learn my game, kind of attitude, so. But, the gape, I call it the gaping hole. Yeah, no, I don't know a lot. I'm learning a lot at my school now. But, yeah, it's the traditional guys just weren't working on a lot. Now, you guys could probably tell me more. I'm 10 years in. How long?
Jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Forever, dude. It's embarrassing. I think I started, it's 20 years.
And what did we say? You're at 17 years. I mean, you guys go back further than me. These, like, key guys just, they don't know it, so they don't want to teach it, or they don't like, do they truly not like it and think it's like
back in the day,
the redheaded stepchild of jiu-jitsu?
It was really frowned upon. So, like, even in tournaments, if there was a submission, a heel hook submission, or a straight ankle, guys on the other team we were talking
throwing
about
shoes,
right? They would throw shoes.
This guy threw a shoe at Matt.
And but
a dirty leg locker.
I think a lot has changed. 10th Planet is a big part of it. Danaher is a big part of it. B Team is a huge part of it. But like, it's like, it's half your body. There's a lot of submissions. And so I think, to your point, even if you're not going to become a leg locker, it's important to understand it, to know the mechanics, and to know how to defend, right? So
yeah. Now, wrist locks, I'm wrist locking everybody. I don't give a shit. You're a white belt or not, right? So,
we had a really good guy.
I'm all over the place.
I'm going to brag a little bit about Jimmy. There's this really good guy. He went back to Nicaragua, right? Sweet guy, really, really good jiu-jitsu. And better than me. I mean, very technical, much younger, much more athletic.
Better looking. I'm assuming. I mean,
but I was able to catch him in a bunch of wrist locks, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm going to do it." With
wrist locks, I kind of bring it up because it's kind of like that, right? It's you could really hurt somebody if you're doing it too hard, and the same thing with you can just show somebody that you have the ankle. You don't have to rip it. But I think what worries like older guys like us, and you can probably attest to this, is it's just that one guy that just goes too crazy. That one white belt that feels like he's trying to prove himself, or just doesn't have a good handle on the movement yet, and then they blow out your knee, and then you're like, okay, I'm out for 9 months. I'm in my 50s. What am I doing? And wife gets upset.
I wish
I
it
gotta
was
go to
just,
work
I wish it was just
tomorrow.
white belts, man. It can be anyone on a bad day.
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
like,
well, yeah.
teachers gonna listen.
But like even
Yeah.
if I get a submission on somebody who's not a black, like not a very experienced, I don't know what you guys do, but like I won't hold a submission, like especially like a
Catch
break.
and release.
Catch and release. A choke maybe, because I think you're not going to break anything. You're going to put them to sleep, and not that you want to do that, but if they're not going to tap, I don't mind them falling asleep.
But-
I'm not going to try and break somebody's bone.
No, I tell everybody, I'm usually I'm 235 right now, 236.
Same.
I'm usually like, you just say same. Pretty close, right? Look at maybe a couple pounds less. I'm usually a bigger guy, not in my school anymore, but I mean, in my last, I was usually the bigger guy on the mat, just on any given day. So I kind of learned, I used to tell people, I have to learn jiu-jitsu, and then I have to learn how to not hurt you.
Yeah.
Like to manage my weight a little bit more and not drop down on you. And like, I'm just not going to do stupid things that are going to, like, I'm going to drop my weight on you. You're going to pop a rib or, but like at my school now, there's a lot of tall guys. We talk about gigante, these tall guys, and there's multiple guys that are 6'4" at my gym right now. There's a 23-year-old. This guy Marshall just got his black belt. I think he's 6'4", 260 pounds. I'm like, oh, look at the reactions. We're all like, oh God, that's just like the toughest roll. But Gigante, a guy named Garth, Marshall,
I rolled
right
Gar.
there.
Gar's big too, but he's great. Yeah, that was
Super. Like he's very like he's gentle. Like the thing, like for me, I've been like this for a really long time, because even at my first gym, I was like the first student of this coach when he opened his gym. So like I've just always been a place where I was the more advanced guy, but I was just older and bigger, so I was just a little bit more responsible with it. I've always let the person that I'm rolling with in a training situation, I mean, you have the control of the accelerator. If I'm more experienced than you, I'm just gonna roll like a stripe above you or like barely a belt above you, because I want to play. I want to do jiu-jitsu. Me just submitting you is, for some people, like, yeah, I beat everybody at the gym today. That's not fun for me. I want to do the jiu-jitsu. Let's do the thing that we're learning and move. So I like catch and release. So like I'll usually, depending on the person, like, okay, I want to like maybe get a quick submission, but if in a 5 or 6 minute roll, then the rest of the time I'm just doing jiu-jitsu. Even if I can get a submission, I'm just like, all right, yeah, that's there, but I'm not going to grab it, or I'll show that I have it. And then I roll. And then again, if it's somebody below me that I know I could submit them, then I'll just submit them like right at the end, like really close to the belt. Like that's my little rule. But I'm rolling with guys that kick my ass too. So, on the other side, then I'm trying to survive, But that's just kind of my little rule with Sony. But they have control over the accelerator. If they want to push harder, then I can escalate. I can match your intensity. But that's usually, I think, when people get hurt. When it's like, oh, you're matching me, I'm going to match you. Right? And then it turns into this battle and blood and cuts and right, stories about I got all bloodied on the mat. How many people? Oh, we were just doing a little private training, and all of a sudden now you're hurt. So, I mean, I don't know. Like again, for me, I'm going to let them control. They're just by their body and their movement, they're going to tell me how hard we're going to go.
I mean, for longevity, that's how you want to roll. Like, I see it as a control game, and because of that, it turns into a big self-realization process and therapy and a bunch of other great things. But at the gist of it, it's if I want to control you, I gotta have control over everything I'm doing. And I think the signs are loudest with an audible, slow breath. And if I hear my training partner is just about to blow his load or whatever, that's lack of control. And then with that, you have lack of controlled movements. That's when a guy who's trying to like get out of a clinch, does a fucking backspin elbow and catches you or whatever. And I was gonna say the way I roll in the gym with my students is not at all like I catch and release there too. I'd rather control you 5 minutes, than
stop.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I don't like this.
I'm gonna get tired that way. But I do like to go to open mats, and I compete pretty regularly so that I can go and I'll try to break your arm there. For a while I was going over armbar escapes pretty regularly at the gym, and like my guys got so good at getting out of arm bars that I'm like, can I still finish an arm? Like these guys are getting too good. Yeah. So I went to an open mat and I was like, I'm just gonna try to armbar everybody. That's the only thing I want to do to make sure I still got it. And I got it. But
like again, you're coaching every day. I think that's great. Like that's a proud papa moment when your guys are getting so good at something that you taught them, or like the thing that you were getting everybody with, and then all of a sudden they're escaping. It's a proud moment. They're learning jiu-jitsu, and they're learning that, you know, they have your jiu-jitsu. Like usually coaches are teaching us their jiu-jitsu, what they're good at or what they like.
It's been great. And, you know, like the gyms hasn't been open that long since I've moved here, and there's already been so many people that have gone from not knowing anything at all to tapping out black belts, you know, within like a couple of years. It's been insane.
Do you guys know, are you conscious of the fact that when you walk onto a mat with a 10 planet rash guard on, that the person on the other side is immediately, they have certain thoughts going through their head over like, oh shit, I got to watch my legs.
They should watch their legs. If they need a better weed plug, you probably got like much cleaner Kush and whatever black market shit you're buying.
There's immediately like that aura around 10th Planet guys, and you
Smells
know
good. Right?
that aura, and that aura. You guys are so you are conscious of that.
I think that too. I think that we mentioned it earlier. It's like, you know, you don't want to hurt your students, your training partners.
Yeah.
So if there's a hole in their game, you don't exploit it. You know, you inform them. And on the flip side of that is, you know, Helio Gracie said he could beat anybody, not because he was bigger and stronger, because he was going to bring you to a position he understood better than you.
Okay.
So I'm not a leg locker, but I can sense when I'm rolling with someone if they know less than me, and if I got that dog in me too, man. If I smell your fear, I'm gonna keep pursuing that. And it is one of those things. It's just like anything. If like I have a hurt shoulder and you go for key lock, like you've rolled with Paul, right? So yeah.
No, I haven't rolled with Paul.
Oh really? Well,
no.
if he gets a key lock on you, man, like there's a strong chance that he's gonna bring it to a position where he can finish that arm at that point. And if I have a hurt shoulder and he senses it, oh my God, I just made his day. Like now it's like he just has to hold on tighter and in any direction. It's like, you know, so same thing. I'm not a wrestler, but if I could tell that you suck so bad at wrestling that you can't wait to sit down, I might try to stand back up. I might be like, all right, let's see if we can, you know, those couple wrestling tricks I have work.
So do you have a lot of guys that transition from other places that are like, they come to 10th Planet, like I've been learning this type of jiu-jitsu and I
mean, you brought up like, you know, so if we're rolling because you're bigger than me, I'm going to try to leg lock the shit out of you. I'm not a leg locker, but like,
I mean, I told you my weakness already, right?
Yeah. No, I'm joking. I won't do that, but unless it's in the gi.
No, but see, that's the thing is like I welcome that, because then, you know, I'm going to ask. I'm someone who's going to, not only do I like to teach, but I'm going to say, hey, how did you do that? Can you just show me what you did? Where I don't know where my foot was and how you got that so quickly. Like it's super like inquisitive about that. I want to know. That's the way I'm going to learn.
I think one of the best things about 10th Planet is that we have an outlined curriculum that's available for us to follow, and within that curriculum there's everything. It's, you know, it's like the skeleton of the system. And within that, you have some major components. You know, you have your guard games, half guard, rubber guard, quarter guard, all of that. And then you have your truck twister stuff. You know, there's a lot in there. But within that, there's a lot of leg locks. So they're all lettered series. And the first one that we target is the A series are Granbys. So we just go over inverting. And like I know for a fact that the old school gyms here don't cover that at all. They think Granbying is gay.
Well,
I'm quoting someone. That's I don't think it has a sexual preference, but
I mean, you talk as soon as you talk about inverting to guys our age, we're like,
we immediately say we can't do that. It's not my body type. So like,
yeah.
But it's not really true. Like he's showed me that. Like,
are you inverting now?
I'm not. It's not like really a part of my game, but it's.
He can.
I can, right? And I have, and I think there's a lot of things that like we have this like, or at least I don't want to generalize. I had this thought like, I can't even like the rolling. Like I love I'm a Kimura guy, and but I won't from standing like roll and grab the Kimura but now I do.
What do you mean? Are you talking about like the sweep, like a Kimura sweep?
No, I'm passing, and as I'm passing, I'll do a front roll.
Okay.
You do it from half too.
I do it from half too. Yeah. So there's things that I'm like, holy shit, I can do this, you know, and I'm not too old, I'm not too hurt. The other thing about 10th Planet, so like I think there is that stereotype, but every stereotype has some thread of truth, right?
Yeah, so every legend has a
there's that vibe. But the other thing, when I was training in the gi, if I travel a lot for work, and I would never pack my gi and just show up at some gym.
It's like half a suitcase.
It's a lot. a rash guard takes a lot less space, but I feel like 10th Planet it really is a community where like, I'm like, hey, Matt, I'm going to be in New York or in LA. Of course, headquarters is in LA, but like another guy named Scott Epstein, they call him Einstein, has a school in West LA. Matt, would you just, introduce me or whatever? And they're so welcoming. And so now I've made friends with Scott in LA, with a guy named Stingray in New York. I was in Barcelona. I trained at 10th Planet there. Like, it's such a welcoming group and very consistent in sort of what they teach because of the letters and the training. And it's just, to me, it's a more open. Take other students and let's teach them something. Let's get some roles. And
I have fun with. I know about 10th Planet what I hear. I've never been to 10th Planet.
You're tempted. I know it. I can see.
Yeah, no, it was on my short list of like, what am I going to do when I leave my gym? When I knew I was leaving, I was like, what am I going to do? I chose very close to home and the fact that I knew people. So, but I've had fun with the stereotypes that the community has. I've had fun with making the occasional reel, like with like people dancing around, and I'm like, oh, the 10th Planet warm-ups. Like, I've had fun with that, but I know nothing other than what we hear and. Just
it's pretty much that.
Yeah. I did a funny one of like some girl, she's like talking about like psychedelics, like she's singing about psychedelics, and I'm like, every 10th Planet parking lot at 5:45 or something like that, So I've had fun with it, but again, I've only known what I've spoken to people about, no personal knowledge. It's just fun.
It's such an interesting group of people. The community is awesome, and I'm happy you brought that up. I saw Manu from Barcelona on Sunday. I like going to the 10th Planet events. They're my friends, and there's like such a bizarre group. He's trained with Ben Eddy, the Hindula Team author, and then Vinny Magalhaes, who a lot of people don't realize is a 10th Planet guy, but yeah, he was hitting trucks and twisters, on EBI at ADCC years ago. So he's met a bunch of these players. And when you're talking about the reel, I don't know who made the reel, but someone this was like a couple years ago, there's been like teams, and there was a team 10th Planet for, I don't remember which quintet or whatever, but someone made a reel where it's like a bunch of K-pop guys, and like one guy comes up and he's like, hi, I'm, Dragonfly. The other one's like, hi, and they're all like wearing like crazy outfits and shit, and it's like 10th Planet, quintet team. And the first comment I read is from Gio Martinez, and it goes, "Hi, I am Ultra."
I was telling Matt, I remember on Thanksgiving I went away and had Thanksgiving with a bunch of people, a couple of different families, and Matt texted me like, "Hey, happy Thanksgiving. How was your day?" And I said, "It was great, but like it was awkward during the Thanksgiving dinner, trying to convince everybody that the Earth is flat." That's a 10th Planet thing.
Wait,
that's an Eddie Bravo. Yeah. It's not.
Hey, look, everything's black, guys.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Let's get into a couple of questions because we're going to run short on time. So I did get it. We got a couple of listener questions. Sometimes they're from people you might know. So the first one's from this says Nick Fury, but I know his name is not Nick Fury. Hold on one second. It was do you immediately know who that is?
I feel like it's this hardcore kid. I mean,
William Watts. William Watts.
What is he asking? Is it
I'll tell the question. So it was a little bit more of a statement, but I guess we can discuss. He says, I train at a Gracie Center gym, but love the cross training I get from various 10th Planet locations. My biggest struggle is combating side control to lockdown and how to handle the points of contact for people who are leg focused in either open guard or mixed guard.
So when he's in top side control, he's having a problem with bottom people recovering half?
Combating side control to lockdown. My biggest struggle is combating side control to lockdown and how to handle the points of contact for people who are leg focused in either open or mixed guards. Yeah, so I guess like he's probably trying to get the lockdown and they're going after his legs back here, right?
Yeah, I mean if he's not familiar with the Black Mamba entry, I would go Black Mamba. So I like to. I
love the names.
I was gonna,
It's what Eddie uses it. It's pushing the leg out to enter that half guard. I use a reverse shin to shin too. So like a common shin to shin leads into like single X and so that stuff. But if you bring in the other side, so a reverse shin to shin, if you push that leg out, you can throw the outside leg over and just go right into a lockdown. Avoiding bottom side is all about just maintaining those frames. So just, preserving the guard game in general is going to be there. I think a lot of times it's easier to hop into a Z, just that knee shield, and then from there we call it Zelda when we go from knee shield, so a Z guard, into the lockdown. And I really think it's contingent on
that transition is called Zelda.
Yeah, and you need your underhooks, because without the underhooks, you're probably going to lose a half guard battle. He's going to pass.
Yeah.
So I only play lockdown if I have my underhooks. If not, I'm going into rubber guard. So anytime they win the underhook, so you have an overhook and 10th planet equals rubber guard. So if I'm in a half guard, if you get your underhooks and you get lower, you can kick out of there. You're going to pass. Or even if I keep the lockdown on and you get lower, you can even hurt my legs if you just like start donkey kicking out.
Okay.
So yeah, like that's how I would handle that. And stop by and train with us, Nick. Or I mean, William Watts, who goes by Nick.
William Watts, he says go Bills. I'm thinking he's up in New York somewhere. Let me see. He's got a.
Or maybe he just likes everyone named Williams.
Gracie Elite, Hillion Gracie Academy, but I can't see the city. All right, so we have another question from. We have Casey Overby.
Oh, cool!
You know Casey?
Casey's dope. Yeah, he's the shit.
Question for you and Matt: do you enjoy rolling with bigger or smaller guys? That's question number one. Bigger helps you problem solve and weight and Kazushi. Oh, okay. Bigger helps you problem solve with weight and Kazushi more, but smaller tends to be more technical. What's your take?
He answered his question.
Yeah. Well, he gave his
Yeah, I agree with him. He's phenomenal, man. I love rolling with him whenever he comes around.
Where's he from?
He's from Pensacola. His
Okay.
brother owns the Kazushi Club there. They're under Sean Applegate, who's a 10th Planet black belt in Atlanta, and he runs a phenomenal. His program is creating some of the best in the world. Like within 10th Planet, but also the world. You got Ryan Atkins, Elijah Carlton, Chase Hanna. The Kevin Buerig's one of the younger ones who's also just killing the scene. So he produces stars, and within his gyms, his guys are opening up what they call Kazushi clubs. So they're not 10th Planet affiliates, but these guys are 10th Planet black belts. So the Kazushi clubs though also have brown belts who are working on getting their black belts, and maybe once they get their black belts, they can open up their own 10th Planet. But I forget Casey's brother's
So what's
name.
the point of the Kazushi Club? It's just
They're not prepared to open up an actual 10th Planet yet.
Okay.
So they're still 10th Planet members, but it's not as easy as it was to open up a 10th Planet. You got to have your black belt. You got to have your ducks in a row. You need Eddie to say it's cool. You can't be within certain,
distances from other
yeah,
schools.
exactly, all that. So there's a lot of different groups within 10th Planet. Like I'm a 10th Planet freak, in case you couldn't tell. And then there's
those are because you're under Boogie. It's freak. Those guys are freaks.
Yeah, but for sake of appearances, we'll just call it 10th Planet Pompano Beach. I don't want anyone to think we're weird.
No, nobody's gonna think that at all.
But you probably roll with. You've rolled with obviously a lot of smaller guys and a lot of bigger guys. But
yeah, the preference is like whoever I know more. Yeah. Like I know it sounds, but you guys who've been training for a long time, man, you got your homies, and if you get someone who might be a better role, but you don't know him, who are you going to choose?
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, no, I want to.
That goes back to what I said before. And most of the guys I train with, other than Matt, are bigger than me. Right, Rodrigo, you met him; he's big.
Yeah.
This guy Marcos in Boca is big and strong. And we were just talking about AJ. I've been rolling with him a lot lately, and in my mind, I thought he wasn't a big guy, but he is.
Yeah,
he's bigger and stronger than me.
He's athletic too. He's he's in good shape.
But
for me, obviously, I think what you said is a great way of saying it. Like, I'd rather roll with somebody I know over just like worrying about size, because a little guy can get on top and fuck me up too. Can be incredibly skillful. My policy is though, if you're bigger and I don't know you, I'm not going to pull guard. I'm going to try to fight for top because I just don't know who you are. If it's a smaller guy, even if I usually pull guard I want to, all right, let me pull guard and I'm going to give you this advantage because I'm heavier than you.
If you get on top of a smaller guy, it's going to be hard for them to.
Yeah. I think, at this point I have enough, I understand, how to control somebody and I know how to use my weight. And again, a big part, I used to try to tell people like, I was rolling with a lot of small people and rolling with girls in my old gym, and they're just, these tiny little girls, and I had to like just be careful. And if I did get on top, just started to not get on top and like pull guard, let them work, escape, show them, oh, you're leaving an arm out here. I can, this transition's right there. Sometimes I'll just like hit the arm. I'll like grab it. Like, don't leave this out here. Let them know that it's there and let them play and practice. And I'm getting my jiu-jitsu training in by letting them do that. But again, my pulling guard is the way to kind of like even the field a little bit. And then if somebody gets stupid, I usually throw them into the lockdown. And so many people just don't understand the lockdown, that they're just like, it's like they really start to flop around. You know way better than I do, I'm sure. People start flopping around. You're just like, oh, they don't know.
Yeah, I would say the main indicator is if you're head level and suddenly they're doing this. They're looking down, they're trying to see what you're doing. I'm like, you have no idea. Or you gotta look.
Or the kick, like they get
donkey kick out.
They just like they're like pretty
and then
back
they get,
to their
and
butt.
then they get their MCL surgery, which is what happened to.
And they're kicking and they're kicking and they're kicking, and I'm just like, all right, definitely doesn't know. So again, if they're friends of mine and they're in the academy, I'm gonna say like, hey, there's like there's a way to like they wind up kicking your calf.
Yeah, they start kicking.
And it's like they're putting it back and they're literally kicking, almost like, oh, well, are we striking now? Like it could hurt when they do it a lot. So then I'll usually show that guy, or sometimes I'll stop them and be like, look, when you pull it back, just do a little arch and you'll go over my leg and you'll get out of it. So let's stop kicking me. Just give it a little. But I'll usually stop them at the end and then say, hey, let me show you what you did wrong. And I want you to know how to get out of it, so that I have to figure out how to get you back into it, or what the transition is going to be. So that's how I level the playing field is pull them into my guard. But not everybody, the higher level guys, they could be smaller and they're like, oh, you're going to let me pass, or you're going to pull guard. I'm going to try to quickly pass. I do. At 51, I actually do like a cartwheel pass. I was a gymnast when I was a kid.
That's awesome.
I trained I did gymnastics from easy there. When was the last time you trained? When was the last time you were on the mat? Okay, thank you. So I was a gymnast from like 5 years old to about 16. And my school, like just like you would play baseball during baseball season, we had a season where they had the entire gym was set up. It was a professional gymnastics gym, and you went to gym class and you did gymnastics for a whole season. And then, so I did that, and then you did it. Then there was an after school program for it.
It's probably a great background for jiu-jitsu.
So, at 51, I get on the mat, I cartwheel, and people will be like, what the fuck?
So there's a video that was just going around of a tournament where I think it was maybe kids, and this big ref, had a big belly, and he kind of got tripped up.
You gonna go to the bathroom again? Go ahead, go.
We were just talking about our age group.
And he did a cartwheel. Did you see that?
What? I'm sorry. Go back and say.
Just a ref who was like a big guy, and he got kind of caught up with these grapplers. I think they were kids.
Okay.
In the tournament, and he ended up doing like a cartwell pass.
I think I know what you. Yeah, I think. Cool. Yeah, I think I've seen that. It's. I think. Like I just do it because I can do it, and I want to I want to practice doing a cart. Where else am I going to do a cartwheel? Right. So sometimes I would get on the mat and do a cartwheel. Like sometimes you see like these fighters get into the ring and do it. Yeah. I'm not doing it to be show off. I want to practice the cartwheel. And when do you get to practice a fucking cartwheel? I'm going to be like, I'm not out on the grass in the backyard, So I'll get on the mat and do it, and people, my old coach, actually, the security cameras had me, like I just did it next to him. Like I just really did a cartwheel as we were getting into the beginning of a roll. And I just did it as a little bit of a joke, because I didn't even do it close to him till I grabbed him, because you could do it with holding on to somebody and do it. So I just did it, and he wound up posting it online that night, like it's showing me doing a cartwheel pretty much like next to his head. But I I love doing stuff like that. It's it still makes me feel a little bit young,
Yeah,
but I want to be able to do it. It usually, again, it's one of those things that I'll do like playfully with somebody, or just to let somebody know, like, you heard I'm 51, but I'm not that 50. I'm not the 51 that you're used to. At least, if I'm being cocky, I'm going to say, I don't think we're the average. Yeah. Would you 56? Did you say? Yeah. You're not the average 56-year-old. I'm definitely not the average 51-year-old. But we can meet somebody, where they want to play, where they want to meet us.
I think I might have the average 46-year-old prostate.
You might have to check that out, huh? Well, listen, guys, we're going to start to wrap it up. I'm going to do the drill down real quick. We got a few minutes to do the drill down. We're going to do it quick with not a lot of commentary, Christian. Okay? We got time? Okay, good. So so we usually do like when we ask for questions, we usually get a whole bunch of like the same questions, like what's your favorite move? Guard, takedown, or pull guard. So we wind up just like taking those questions and putting them at the end of the podcast, and we call it the drill down. And Bo's going to yell drill down now because that's our sound effects guy.
Okay.
The drill down.
That will be in the podcast. So this one's obvious, but since we have Paul here as well, we've probably done this a few times, but not everybody's heard it the first time.
Okay.
So these are the most common questions. So we're just going to run through these real quick. So gi or no gi?
No gi.
No gi. You're
Tough for me to say. Sorry, Rodrigo. No gi.
Takedown or pull guard?
Pull.
Pull.
I get on top, stay on top.
Yeah. Again, to me, it's just how big the person is and how well I know them. Favorite submission?
Oof. These days? Oh, man.
The lockdown.
Yeah. Oh, no.
We call it the spitting lockdown.
This past week, I've been playing with. Last weekend, I was training with some guys in LA, and you know Octopus Guard, right?
I see. Again, I know that I probably know it, but I don't know it by that name.
So there's a counter to the Octopus Guard, calamari, and yeah, it's just so sneaky that I didn't come up with a name. There was Phil Schwartz, the guy who owns 10 Planet Portland, was showing some of the guys, and apparently. Yeah, it's something that they've all been playing.
What's the basic position of the Octopus Guard? Because
Octopus Guard. So if I'm passing, reverse judo side, or like we call it twister side, but like a reverse case of katami. If the bottom person grabs the lat and keeps that frame in, they can start sliding their knee through, going towards the back, or getting on top to mount. So there's a guard right there.
Okay.
So the top person, you're reverse judo side, so you're facing the legs. Bottom person, you're holding on to the back, the lat, the love handle, whatever that side, and then you start getting out. Once you clear that arm, you can get to a proper twister side, and you have to bring your knee up higher and kind of stretch the dude out. But if he's still kind of balled out, Octopus Guard can lead to a dominant position. Okay. But calamari guard is if that hand is not in the right spot, it's not grabbing that lat and it's accessible. If you just grab that wrist, then you trap the dude's arm, and you can go into some neck cranks, some wrist locks, and some other stuff.
You've been working on that.
Fun, man. It's just sneaky, But
so is that something you knew and you're just practicing a lot now, or is it something new that you've added to your own arsenal?
It's new to me. So that position, like at the black belt stage, it's like I don't learn like brand new shit. I'm learning like
perfecting
stuff that
you know.
Yeah. So I like twisters. Twister side is I use that position a lot. I like it. And conversely on the bottom side, I teach my guys how to do it a lot, so they pass to twister side. So I like trapping them with it, like the same way I teach all my guys lockdown. I'll let you lockdown sweep me if I can catch you once you're on top with my own half guard game. That's how it becomes fun. Yeah. So this is I like using that pass. On the flip side of it is Octopus Guard. So if if I'm showing both of those things, I just need to keep building on these games, and it's crazy how like the smallest thing, like where's your knee? Where's your hand? And those subtle details within that position will allow the top person or the bottom person to do one thing or the other. And now Octopus Guard's a great way to combat the twister side game, unless I calamari guard you.
Well, these names are crazy. This is like, so is it? Are you getting used to these names?
Oh, I am, and I'm getting used to sneaky shit from Matt. Like you could think you could feel like you're in a dominant position, and where I used to feel like, okay, I can rest here for a moment, like. He's constantly moving. He's so compact. His elbows are connected to his knees, and next to think he's
at 240, huh?
Yeah, 240. But
So favorite submission?
The peach cobbler for sure. No, I'm just kidding. There's no such thing.
I was like,
it's delicious.
What are we doing?
No, I get a lot of Peruvian neckties, which I like. Although people start, you can hit it once or twice, and then people are onto it. I'm also just like an old school like arm triangle, katakatami, kimura. There's a lot of things you can do from the kimura.
Music during rolling, yes or no? Yes or no?
Always.
And then what, John? What do you? You're controlling the playlist. What do you?
That's opening up a whole nother podcast.
Yeah. So the reality is like I never like I've been on another podcast before, and I never even listened to that. I don't listen to podcasts. I'm always listening to music. Yeah. Always. Spotify tells you like how much you listen to. I'm always top percentile, top 1%. I listen to more music than anyone else.
Yeah.
I just always have music on, and depending on when I'm rolling. So when I'm teaching, it's always slow BPMs. especially during the daytime. Like if it's a morning class, I'm going like dub reggae, instrumental, or like old school hip hop beats, like Jay Dilla, you know, like Denny LaFleur. Like these are all like contemporary guys that make beats for the rappers. I just take out the voice just because it's slow. I want you to maintain that slow breath, your slow heart rate, and then when we start rolling, I bring it up. There you should be pushing a little bit more. Like let me see the cartwheels, you know. So then I get in a little bit faster, going from like, you know, the Griselda beats, which is like slow, like, you know, you're I don't know if you guys listen to this type of music. But anyway, yeah, slow shit for drilling and no words, because if I'm teaching, like, you should be listening to each other's voices. You know, if someone says tap, you got to be able to hear it. So if you have a guy screaming in the background, tap, 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 and it sounds like tap, that can mess things up. So I only go the fast stuff once we start rolling. And from there, I was telling him last week I went and saw Molchat Doma at Club Revolution. I'm in the music. I was there last night too. But I took some of my students went with me, and Molchat Doma is this like Russian goth band. Okay. And they played electro beats, so it's like faster. It's just like, you know, it's sad Russian lyrics sung by like an angry Russian guy. It's beautiful, but that's something I play.
How about you? Do you like music when you're rolling, or do you want it off?
I definitely like music, but not. I don't have the stories, Matt. It's like it's the same.
The musicians you mentioned are just as confusing to me as the move, as the Calamari Guard, as all that stuff.
I have my 80s rock station, and it's been the same station.
I like everything, and I'll listen to anything. It doesn't even matter like what it is I don't care. I want it to be something that I like. I mean, it could be country. A love song could pop in, and I'll sing it to like my partner. Like I like to have fun with it, but I'll listen to anything. I just like. And I love to like when every coach has like if they're controlling the playlist, like you get to see everything that they like and what they want. But I don't like it silent. Right. I don't like silent. I have a little bit of tinnitus, so like I always need noise on. I have in the house the TV's on. If I'm working, there's music on in the background. As soon as it's silent, the ringing gets. It feels like it gets louder.
I mean, I was training with Boogie before that. You know, him and his brothers were dancers. So they were like international b-boys before they got into the jiu-jitsu scene. So he always has music on too, and I like it. It does help guide it, and I do think the crowds are easily moved by it. So you can play some songs. People like I've noticed like I don't want certain songs on anymore. People just go like it's my song, you know, and they start being crazy.
You see that you see that.
I have a 12-hour playlist right now that's been an accumulation. It's like a playlist that's been, you know, curated over the years by students who've given me songs that they want to add to it. So at this point, it's gone up to over 12 hours, and I usually put that on when we start rolling. I just put on this like open mat playlist, and it's got some classical stuff. It's got, you know, because people like dancing. I mean, dancing. That's really all it is, right? I mean, like jiu-jitsu and all martial arts. At the end of the day, we're just teaching choreography. These are dances.
Yeah. Last question, because Christian's telling us we got to wrap it up. What would you be doing, Matt, if you had not found martial arts?
I'd probably still be doing like harder drugs.
Yeah. Are you recovering? Are you in recovery?
No, I wouldn't go recovery. I'm like California sober. Okay. So, you know, yeah.
Define that. That's just.
I don't know, not to get too far away from things, but I tell a lot of my guys, you know, the difference for me between discipline and devotion, and how they're pretty much the same thing, except for I fucking hate the word discipline. Like even the etymology doesn't mean to like cut shit off or something like that. It's a gross word. Stop coming at me with discipline. Tell me about love, man. Tell me about something you love so much that you'll put your whole heart into it, that you'll cut out all that shit you need to cut out. But don't start with like, cut this shit out. Start with like, yo, love this stuff so much that it's all you want to do, that you don't even have time to look at anything else.
Unlock the power of your online presence with Black Belt Digital Marketing. Their reputation management program ensures your Google business profile seen by more potential customers. Black Belt Digital Marketing is your full-service digital marketing agency specializing in local SEO and reputation management. Boost your business today. Visit bbdigitalmarketing.com. Your success is their priority.
I've been training jiu-jitsu for 4 years. In 4 years, I got hurt 6 times. I received stem cell injections in my wrists, elbows, shoulders, both knees, and I got stem cells recently injected in my left index finger. After a week and a half, I was right back at it, going the way I like to go at it. Italy Heal Biogenics, they're friendly, they're patient, they answer all the questions you might have. Educate yourself. Call the Heal, ask about stem cells, and see where it takes you.
Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
So
I like that. We're going to end it there. You want to add anything?
That's
good.
good.
You good? Okay. Let me just get a couple of shout outs. So shout out to BioPro, bioprotech.com. You got BioPro over here. We've got the BioPro Plus with the quarter sleep and the BioPro for mornings. Love this stuff. Did you wind up taking it? No, we talked about it. You didn't wind up taking it. I took this when I first started doing. I was just doing like TRT like pills, just over the counter stuff. And I told you, so it's like, whoa, the two of those things together were crazy. Yeah, it was like a walking boner. Get $30 off with code JJD at bioproteintech.com. And if you get the regularly priced kits, it's like $30 off of $295. The BJJ box is back as well. Check them out at thebjjbox.com, and you get 20% off your first box with code JJD20. All right, so we're going to leave it there. Thank you guys. Listen, I really appreciate you guys coming on. Love to have you back with Zizinho. If you want to bring anybody through, you guys come together.
Let's set that up.
Paul's been great about bringing people in. I love it. Keep on bring them through. A lot of times what happens is somebody comes on and then like either whether they say something on the podcast or they'll message me later, be like, "Hey, dude, I think this guy would be great for the podcast." I love that. Send them to me. I reach out. It maybe not always right away, but I usually reach out and so let's put it together. And if you bring them in, it's even better because I like this better than just like a one-on-one interview. And Ben might even be Ben's like super funny. I don't know how well you know him or if you just know of him.
I know of him, yeah.
He's fucking hilarious, man. He's a lot of fun to have here. He's just one of the recent podcasts, the guy said something about like being like going sober for 1 year. And he was like, boring, right in the middle of the guy telling like this life-changing story over the year. It was hilarious. We put that out as a reel. I still laugh every time I say it.
I saw a reel
He's just amazing.
Put out where
like his timing is really on point. One of the dudes
was saying like something about being like 40 pounds overweight, and Ben just goes, "I'm sitting right here."
Yeah. That was the last episode. Yeah. His timing is like so on point. So he's great. So all right. So again, we're gonna leave it there. Thank you guys for doing this. I appreciate you, Paul. Thank you for coming back again. Check us out on Jiu Jitsu Dummies, Instagram, just all the places, all the ways to watch, listen, and support. You can check me out at Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram. You want to give your handles real quick too?
Yeah, it's at 10th Planet Pompano. Come check us out. Go to the website 10thplanetpompano.com if you want to come visit us. It'd be great to have you.
Okay, and you have no socials. I don't have socials. Thank you for doing this again. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching and listening, everybody. Peace, love, jiu-jitsu. Oos.